Hello. In this video I'm going to be looking at 2D animations in Blender, looking at how you can manipulate images using the shader editor. This is going to show you how you could create an animation where one image is peeled away to reveal another. In this case it's a Christmas advent calendar used to reveal a different image. The reason for this video is to demonstrate creating animations for my Raspberry Pi RGB LED matrix display. It's also thanks to viewer Grindeg, who asked to see more Blender image manipulation. I've already created two videos on 2D Blender. The first is a beginner's tutorial and the last one introduced the shader editor. In this case I'm going to expand on the shader editor. If you're new to Blender then you may want to look at those videos first, and they will be linked in the description. But this is also a standalone video where I'll be going from start to finish through an example. I'll start by looking at the files that I've already created, which are shown here. They're all created in LibreOffice Draw, so that's why there's a draw file there. But essentially there's just three images. The image.png is the background image that will be shown. The door is a door to be opened on an advent calendar. In this case this will be for December the 24th for Christmas Eve. And reveal is a grayscale image showing how we want the image to be revealed. So the white area will be revealed first and then it will gradually reveal until we've reached the end where it's black. And this will all be explained later. But basically we just need these three images and that's what will be used as the resources. I'm going to launch Blender now and I'm going to choose 2D animation, and this just sets up certain menus that are useful for 2D animation, and it sets the camera to view a plane area. It's set to draw mode at the moment. I'm going to just change that to object mode because we're not going to be doing any drawing, everything's going to be based on images. I'm also going to set my render options. So here it shows 1920 by 1080 standard HD. For most people that's probably what you want, but for the matrix animation it's a very low resolution. It's 64 pixels across by 32 pixels down, so literally 64 LEDs by 32 LEDs. The output is set to /temp. We can put that wherever we want, and I'm going to use PNG files and RGB. I'm also going to change the frame rate. So by default it's 24. For these then I'm going to really drop the frame rate right down to 10 frames per second. It doesn't actually matter for creating this because we're going to be creating PNG files, but it allows me when I press play to be able to see it at the speed I intend it to be. So I'm going to set this. This bottom one is the timeline, so this is where we're going to be creating the animation, and that one I'm going to set to the shader editor, which we'll come to see later. So that's everything set up. I can now start bringing my images in. Using the add an image, you see I've got an option images as planes. This is actually an add-on, so you have to add this on first. If you haven't done that then it is explained in my other video. It's quite a common add-on that people use. I'm just going to find the background image, which I've just called image.png, and this is the image we're going to have being revealed. Just going to scale it up so that it fills the full screen. And you'll see this is quite a very basic image. It's deliberately done that, just quickly put together, because I'm rendering at such a low resolution. This is going to be some LEDs, not a proper screen. So if you're wanted to create for HD quality, then make sure you've got a good quality image. One of the things it does, the background is this mucky grey colour, and so we can change that in the properties. I just want to turn metallic up full to 1, and then it gives us a nice crisp, gets it back to its original image, nice crisp black background. And now going to add the other image I'm going to use. Which is the door image. So this is going to be the door of the advent calendar that's then going to be revealed, and just scale that up to about the same size as well. So that's hiding the image behind it. Need to also check in the materials for the door that this has got blend mode alpha blend, so that as we change the alpha value, that's going to disappear. And then the rest of it is going to be done in the shader editor. So reminder, if it was on here, just choose shader editor or shift F3. And this is how it starts. I'm going to make this quite big. We're going to zoom out on there so that you can actually see this. So this is the image file, and what it's doing is taking the image file, it's taking the two things, the colour becomes the base colour and the alpha becomes the alpha. So this is important if you've got any kind of transparency in your image. We don't have it in here, but I'm still going to maintain this in case we did. And then applies the BSDF properties as you set them, and then sends that to an output. And what we're going to do is manipulate this alpha connection here. I'll start by just adding a converter, and it's going to be a math converter, and I'm going to use the multiply. So what this is going to do is take a value, the value of the alpha from here, and multiply it by this figure, and we're going to use a value of between 0 and 1. As you see, if we set that to 0, the image becomes completely transparent and it's revealed. And if we have that of 1, then it's fully opaque. And if you saw in my previous video, this can be used to take an image and make it gradually fade away by becoming more and more transparent. And we'll be looking at that again a bit later. But what we wanted to do is to add a texture to it. Now there are some textures in here, so if you wanted to make it a brick effect or various different effects in there, you can use those, but they don't give us the granular control that we need here, which is why I created that texture, the reveal.png, which is just a grayscale image. So I just duplicated the image, and we're going to change that to the other file, which is the reveal file. And if we use that colour, through here, then we can use that to make parts of it transparent and parts of it not. What we need to do, well, put that on there, and if I just connect that on there, you'll see this is the sort of texture that it is, but this is not what we want, because this is making part of it transparent and part of it opaque. And what we need is, we want a hard line. We want the bit that's transparent completely transparent, and the bit that's opaque completely opaque. We don't want any of this in the middle. And I'm going to use another maths converter here. We can either go to converter and maths. We could have just duplicated that and drop that in there. And we're going to use the less than comparison. And what it's going to do, it's going to compare that value in there, and if it's less than this value, then it outputs a 1. If it's more than this value, it outputs a 0, and that's going to obviously affect whether we can see it or not. And we can do that. We'll start with 1, which means that it's the whole image is fully opaque. And if we go down to say 0.8, you can see it's starting to reveal some of the image below. That black is actually the image below. 0.6, more visible, and gradually as we drop this, you see it's more and more of the image is being revealed until we get to 0 and it's completely revealed. And so we can do all this on the timeline. You can add keyframes based on this, but I'm actually going to create a variable node. It's called a value, and input value, and we'll call this one reveal, just so that it makes it clear this is the one that's going to determine the value that's in here. And so, like as we had before, if that's 1, that's completely opaque. Now, one thing, I'm not sure why, but you can't seem to see this reveal on the timeline until you've had a keyframe for the overall image. Select the door and right click on it and choose insert keyframe. It doesn't matter what we insert as a keyframe here. We'll just use the location. We don't really need that, but we do need to add it before we can see the keyframes for this. We can now set that value and insert keyframe and select that and then reveal this. You can see the value here. So what I'm going to have here, so the reason I've jumped to frame 20, we're going to have 2 seconds of the door, which is the date being shown, which has got a value of 1, and then we're going to have 2 seconds for it to reveal. So I'm going to go to frame 40, and now if we're selected on that and we just change that to 0, that will add it for us. Or you could have gone in there and right clicked and choose add keyframe. So now if we scribble along the timeline, you can see as we go it's revealing the image. And that's really the effect that I'm wanting to create, so that's why I thought I'd demonstrate that. However, there's a lot more you can do using this. You can add more and more of these different elements to manipulate it in any way you want. So I thought as well, let's have it display for about a minute, sorry, about 30 seconds, and then we're going to add the what I want it to do is then to fade back into the door, not do the anti-reveal or reveal. I'm just going to have it fade in. And to do that, we can do that by adding additional entries. So if I duplicate that, oops, I just wanted to duplicate the multiply and just rearrange all this over here to give us some space. What I could do is take the output from here and add another filter, and this will then apply by multiplying this as either 1 or 0, or a value between 1 and 0, will change the alpha as well. Now I'm going to add another value, and this one will be the alpha value. And that's just going to go into there. So what this can do is that regardless of here, as in addition to here, it's going to apply this alpha value separately. So this alpha value will be set at 1 normally, so that whatever output comes from this less than block is just passed straight through, and then can be set to a varying degree to allow us to fade the image in and out. So we can start by, if we go to timeline position 1, we can set that value to 1 and then insert that as a keyframe. Then that will stay all the way until it's fully revealed. Then we can set the value as 0. And at the same time we can turn that reveal value to 1. So if we can just script that, so there's the alpha value, I need to set it as 1 there as well. So let me just explain that. So the alpha value from 1 up to 40 is set at 1. So whatever you see is now whatever the output is from there goes through. And then the reveal goes down to 0 and then goes back up to 1 after, or at the same point that the alpha value for that goes to 0. So now we've got this set back to 1, so it will fully show, but this set to 0, so it's hidden. Then we go back to the point 30 seconds later, where we want it to start to reveal. So we add another keyframe in based on that, so that that remains at 0, and then however long it takes to reveal, and we change that value to 1. So I'm changing it from different places, so you can see how you can either do it through there, but remember to right click and add keyframe, or you can just do it straight through there. And that should do the animation and then displays it for a period of time and then gradually fades back into there. And then the final thing is to determine how long that's going to stay on. And in fact, because we've already got it displaying there, we just need to basically from frame 90 onwards stop. So we just change our end frame to 90. So now we've finished with that, we'll just drop that down, rewind to the beginning, and we'll just test it, see if it does what we want. So it reveals as though you're opening up the thing, and then fades. I mean, the only thing is actually it might be better if we extended that a bit longer, so we could just select these keyframes and drag them out. So let's leave it on for till 120. How about that? So let's try. Just remember, need to update our end as well to 140 if we do that. Does a reveal, leaves the picture on for a while longer this time, and then brings back to the door image, and then repeats. And this will be repeating constantly when it's on the matrix display. And then at this point you can just render it to the animation, which is, as we've said before, is going to send us PNG files. And then these files are what I need for sending to the matrix display. For the finished animation, I also added a plane which just creates a white triangle as though it's a page turn. That just uses the standard move and rotate and scale to move across the screen as it goes. So that's covered a few more features of the shader editor in Blender. So I hope you found that useful, and if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. Mainly a maker channel with the occasional video related to Blender and other activities, and hope to see you in a future video.